Hello, and welcome to the April Spug, where we will cover Bamboo Calendar plus Webpart. The audience for this course are users and site owners looking to enhance their organization's collaborative experiences. Some of the objectives that we plan to cover are to explain what a Bamboo Calendar plus Webpart is, to help educate you guys as the audience as to some of the unique features of Bamboo calendars, and also to highlight some of the advantages of using a Bamboo calendar versus a SharePoint calendar. This training is meant to provide you guys with knowledge of a tool that can lead to increased collaborative efforts within your organizations. What we plan to cover is what a Bamboo calendar is. Then we're going to talk about the relationship between a Bamboo calendar and a SharePoint calendar, how to create a Bamboo calendar, and then once we have that established, we'll go over some of the settings that are available to you for Bamboo calendars. So what is a Bamboo calendar? Well, a Bamboo calendar is a third-party app that's available to us that provides additional features that are not available with the standard out-of-the-box SharePoint calendars. One of the big advantages of using a Bamboo calendar plus Webpart is it allows us to be able to view multiple calendars using one interface. This can be really helpful for organizations that have multiple calendars that leadership may need to view, and they can utilize the Bamboo calendar plus Webpart to display all of the calendars in one location. One of the disadvantages of using the normal standard SharePoint calendars are that it generally only allows you to view one calendar at a time. And while you do have the option of using calendar overlays, there is a limit to being able to use 10 overlays, and the features available with SharePoint overlays are not as robust as the Calendar plus Webpart. You can see here that some of the additional views and items that are available with the Bamboo Calendar Plus are displayed using this chart. You can see versus the SharePoint calendars, Bamboo Calendar Plus Webpart has a lot more features that are available to the users. So now let's actually get into how to create a Bamboo calendar. You can see here on the left that I already have a calendar established called ARMD_calendar. And this is going to be the calendar that I'm going to use in order to create my Bamboo calendar. So first, I'm going to go to my page, and I'm going to click on the Site Action Gear and click Edit Page. Then, in Edit mode, I'm going to click the Add a Webpart. Under Categories, I'm going to select Bamboo Solutions, and then Bamboo Calendar plus Webpart. Then click Add. Once the page refreshes, it's going to allow me to look at the Bamboo Calendar plus Webpart settings. In order to do that, I need to go ahead and click on this, the drop-down arrow, and click Edit Webpart. From here, go ahead and click on Calendar plus Webpart settings. Now, once you do this, this will allow us to actually begin the configuration of the Bamboo calendar. Keep in mind that the Bamboo calendar cannot work or will not work if the SharePoint calendar or list does not already exist. In this case, my ARMD_calendar already existed, so that is going to be the one that I'm going to be pulling in. Once you're here, you then need to click on the SharePoint List or Library section, and then click Add List or Library. This is where we're going to start to customize each individual calendar. In this case, I'm going to pull in my ARMD_calendar. So first it asks me to give the calendar a name. Now, because this is a Bamboo calendar plus Webpart and I'm pulling in a list, or in this case a calendar, I can give my calendar a different name, but I would recommend that you stick with the same name as the calendar that you're pulling in. That way it cuts down on confusion. So I'm going to go ahead and use ARMD_calendar. Then I recommend that you click this checkbox right here where it says to allow users to add new items to the selected SharePoint list or library. This feature, once selected, allows your users to be able to interact with the events of the calendar directly through the Bamboo Calendar Plus interface. Next, you can select a color for your calendar. In this case, I'm going to select blue. Hit OK. And then, for step 2, it asks you to enter the URL where the calendar resides at on SharePoint. So I'm going to go ahead and click back over here to my ARMD_calendar and grab this URL right up here, do a copy, and then bring it right back over and paste it right here. Once you do that, you click on the View List and Libraries button. You'll see a brief load right here. And what this does is this allows you to do step 3. So step 3, this list will populate once you put this URL in and hit this button for step 2. And what it does is it brings in all of the lists and libraries associated with that SharePoint site. So you can see the other calendars and lists that I have associated with my site, but the one that I'm looking to target this time is the ARMD_calendar. So once I do that, I'm then ready to move on to the next step. So whenever you select the base columns for your SharePoint Bamboo calendar, this is going to be what will be displayed on your Bamboo calendar without hovering over any of your events. In this case, I created a category column that has my events in it, and that'll be the one that I want to have displayed on my calendar. So I'm going to select that from my list. Then the start date will be the start time, and the end date will be the end time. Now keep in mind that for your calendar, your column of choice may be different. That this is completely dependent on what you want to have displayed on your calendar to represent your events. So next, we need to determine how we want to filter the data on our calendar. I recommend, and most of the time you are going to want to show all of the items on your calendar. If for whatever reason you do wish to filter, you do have that option using step 4. Under step 5, we want to select the columns that we want to have displayed using the tooltip. Now these are going to be the items that whenever you hover over an event on your calendar, that will pop up in a little bubble display. I recommend using title, location, start time, end time, description, category, and for me this is the column that I created that has the different events in it. So your column here may be called something different. For me it is called category. And then attachments. Once I have the columns that I want to have displayed in my tooltip selected, I am then ready to move on to step 6. Step 6 asks for the description column, and in this case I'm just going to use the column that is called description, because more than likely that's going to be the column that actually houses my descriptive events for all of the events on my calendar. Now you can create a custom column that might house the description for your events in it, and if you do create a custom column with description information in it, then that would be what you would put here in step 6. Now step 7, this is a big one. This is going to be the column that you create, or that is created, that has the multiple events in it for your calendar. If you want to color code the events on your calendar, you're going to want to use the column that has the multiple options in it. For me, it's called category. So once I pull in the category column, you'll see that the choices associated with that column are pulled in. And then I can assign different colors to each one of those categories so that they will be represented by different colors on the calendar. Once I've made my color selections, and I choose between leaving it solid color or gradient colors, I'll go ahead and I'll make them gradient just to be a little different. Then you want to hit Save and Close. Now what this does is this will bring in your SharePoint list. You'll see it added to the list of displayed SharePoint calendars for this Bamboo Calendar Plus Webpart. Now at this point, if I wanted to add in other calendars, I would just simply hit the Add List or Library button again and go through those steps and pull in the next calendar. I would give it a name, bring in the URL for that second calendar or third or however many you wish to add, and follow the steps all the way down and customize that calendar accordingly. In this case, I'm only going to bring in just the one. And because I am done with this, I am now going to hit Save and Close at this step. After I do that, then I'm going to go ahead and hit OK so that I can actually save the changes to my Bamboo Calendar Plus Webpart. At this point, you will see your Bamboo Calendar Plus Webpart populate on your page, but you still want to go ahead and save the page itself so that the calendar will be saved on your page. So I'll go ahead and click the Stop Editing. And there you have it. You now have a Bamboo Calendar Plus Webpart displayed with your events. So I mentioned earlier that there are some additional settings that can be used to further configure your Bamboo Calendar Plus. Well, in order for you to do that, you would first need to go ahead and edit the page and then get back into edit mode so that you can edit the web part. And then make sure you go into the Calendar Plus Webpart settings. Now there are other sections here that can be used to further customize your Bamboo Calendar Plus Webpart. These settings apply to the Webpart overall and also can affect each individual calendar that you bring in using the Bamboo Calendar Plus. So under General Settings, this area is used to help to display and change the settings for the Bamboo Calendar Plus Webpart overall. You'll see a lot of the settings that are similar to what you saw whenever you're bringing in individual lists. There are some unique options here, like whether or not you want to display a toolbar at the top, whether or not you want to display a legend, and you have several other options that you can use here. This is also where you can decide whether or not you want that print button to pop up in the right-hand corner or not, and also what views are available on the toolbar. The next section is the Look and Feel section, and this area allows you to define the look and feel of the Bamboo Calendar Plus Webpart overall. Now, if you're an admin and you're good with the CSS, you can actually pull in your own CSS and give your Bamboo Calendar Plus a look or a color that matches anything out there. So you can fully customize this Webpart to look how you wish it to look. If English is not your preferred language, In the select the language section, you do have the option to select between different languages. There's several to choose from here, but most likely you're going to be leaving it on English. But there are other options for our Spanish speakers to actually have this displayed in Spanish, which can be quite useful. Now the next section is actually under the data source settings, and it's called the data source type. And this is the section that tells the Webpart itself what source of information that you want it to look for. 99% of the time you're going to leave it as SharePoint lists or libraries, as that's generally what you're going to be pulling in. But there are other options to choose from, such as the SQL Server table and the Bamboo Solutions list rollup to choose from. The SharePoint list and library section we covered, and that this is the area where you actually add in the different lists from your SharePoint site. So any different calendars, this is where you come in and add those using this section here. So next, the day and work week section. This just helps you to define what days actually appear on your Bamboo Calendar Plus Webpart. You can see here that I have selected Monday through Thursday, or automatically selected Monday through Thursday. If you choose to want to have the weekend displayed, you can also have those displayed on your calendar. And then you can also define what time frame or what time windows show up on your calendar using this section. The next section is called the quarter and year view. And this section allows you to determine the actual views for your quarters. So if you want to do 3-month intervals or 6-month intervals, you can make those selections here. And then you can also determine what month of the year that quarter view is going to start on. The next section is the Gantt and task section. And for those of you that have interest in using the Gantt feature, this is the section of the Bamboo Calendar Plus Webpart that allows you to customize that. And you'll see a lot of the same options here. You can determine what columns you want to add, and you can determine what kind of settings will be most applicable to help you to display the information using this section. So the next section is the holiday list, and this is good for organizations that wish to display something, all of the holidays for their organization, and also for those of us here in the Army Reserve, the danzas. You can use this section to go out and pull an already existing list that may have those danzas and holidays already depicted. You can pull this in here. Again, just copy and paste the URL from that existing list or that existing calendar, and then you can customize it fully from here. What's nice about this Webpart is that because it is third party, it does come with its own knowledge base and online resources. And if you have any questions about something or about a feature, they do have a lot of information that is readily available online. And you can find a lot of those links from this section here. They also do offer a support section. So if there is something that you're unable to find, you can utilize the support section in order to actually get customer support. Now, of course, we recommend, since we are highlighting this tool, that if you do have questions, first contact the knowledge management team, and we would be more than happy to answer any questions that come our way. So I will make one other highlight here at this point. I'm going to go ahead and save and close my Bamboo Calendar Plus Webpart on the left here. And I do want to go over the tooltip. So if you remember back in step 5, whenever we were doing our SharePoint list and library, we determined what columns we wanted to have displayed in our tooltip. So that tooltip right here, whenever I hover over an event, you'll see this pop-out window, and this is the tooltip. So all of those columns that I selected, title, location, start time, end time, description, category, and attachments, all of these are displayed right here whenever I hover over any of these events. If I actually have a description like I do for event 10, you can see that my description pops up and my window's a little bit bigger in order to capture that information. Keep in mind that you can adjust this and you can determine what pops up in your tooltip based off of the columns that are selected in step 5. Also, with the print feature, the button is located in the upper right hand corner, and once you do click on that button, it'll pop out with an extra window here, and it will show you a view of what will be printed out whenever you use the print feature here. And then you'll just go through the normal print setup that you're accustomed to and determine whatever your print settings need to be. For additional information, I have included a couple of links that go directly to the Bamboo Solutions website, and you can find out additional information directly from them. And then also I've included a nice summary video that helps to quickly explain what the Bamboo Calendar Plus Webpart is. And there you have it. I hope that this video has been very helpful for you. We thank you for joining us for the April Spug, and we look forward to having you again soon.